that they'll make a living playing their sport. So there's life after sports. We have the Beyond Sports program, where we put them out in the summer for internships. And like Wyman mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter what happens, why you leave the university, if you went pro, if you had a hardship at home, if you had to transfer, if you had academic issues, or you just had to leave for other reasons. When you decide to come back and get your degree, we pay for it. Not everybody can do that because you have financial constraints, but we do it as a priority for us. I think we had 17 last year that came back. One player who came back was one of mine. My first year at Carolina, Adam Everett, who played in the big leagues for over 7 years. And he made a lot of money, so he hesitated about coming back until he had 4 daughters. And the oldest daughter told him a couple of years ago, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to probably get my college degree before you do." So he was motivated to come back and finish. So he got his degree and he's happy about that. So I would also want to mention Quinn Monahan, who's here with us, has been a great athletic director at USCB. I keep up with what's going on. Our board suggested to me about 3 or 4 years ago, why don't you lead a group and be the leader of the athletic directors with our extension campuses? And I said, why would I do that? All those ADs are better than I am. And Quinn is one of them. So I'm pleased that I don't have to come down here and visit, and because you don't need me. But he has invited me to play golf a couple of times. But I have a handicap. We're actually 2 handicaps. One is playing golf, and the other one is staying under 100. So that's a real challenge. But I am glad to be here, and I'd like to open it up for any questions that you might have.
Coach, real quick, with the change in laws in California, paying college athletes.
Name, image, and likeness.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on that? And 2, to extend beyond the football players and hit the other parts of the athletic department.
Well, name, image, and likeness. Where my television can I go? It's not working, is it? You got to turn it off. No, I think that's where we are. We're in a new age. Before I address the name, image, and likeness, I want to tell you that the landscape for being a college athlete has changed big time. I played baseball in college. I was on a 50% scholarship, tickled to death. Well, now, if you're a football player, basketball player, women's basketball player, volleyball player, women's golf, you get everything paid for. All your meals, all your medical. We even travel you back and forth home if it's during a time where you get a break from practice or games. The NCAA has deregulated so many things. We pay for optometrists, we pay for everything. And we give you $430 a month for spending money. And we have nutritionists available. And we have food available around the clock. And now name, image, and likeness is hit. So what is it going to mean? We don't know. But we know that it's going to be different than it has in the past. I guess one way to simplify it would be, if you have a student, a young man or a young woman that goes to school, and they work part-time for spending money or to help pay for their college. A student athlete doesn't have the opportunity to do that because of their schedule. So it has been argued that they should have the opportunity to bring in revenue, make money based on their name, image, or likeness. So that's probably going to be the case. How it gets rolled out, we don't know yet. Whether an Asia Wilson, if you will, does she get a car commercial? Does she get a chance to do some type of sponsorship for money? Does the star quarterback? Possibly. How deep does it go? I don't think the third string right guard is going to be very attractive with name, image, and likeness. When I played as a light-hitting shortstop, I don't think anybody would have desired me to be on the cover of their magazine. So I think that's where it is. But the landscape has changed. I don't know where it's going to land, but it is being studied, and it's probably going to open up in one capacity or another. So time will tell. It's still probably at least 21 at the earliest until something happen. There's been 30-something states that have moved their own legislation forward. Well, that's not going to work, because if you're an NCAA sport and you decide to do something in the state of South Carolina, the NCAA is going to prohibit you from going to postseason play because you have gone outside of their rules and regulations. So that all has to be settled. Does that mean Congress is going to decide it? We've got to get it worked out. Congress has their hand in it right now. The NCAA, we have to come to some guy. It's going to be hard to regulate. That's the problem. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult to regulate. And when I told you we were a self-supporting entity, what if some of the athletes start to take advantage of our multimedia marketing rights? What if they start to get involved with some of our donors? And some of our donors who contribute from their businesses or personally, what prohibits that donor from giving it to the athlete instead of the athletic department? Which could be legal. And if it is, that's great, but now I have trouble paying the bills. So there's a lot to be worked out. Will it lead to dropping sports? I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I mean, we have beach volleyball. Beach volleyball is important to me. We made the final 8 2 out of the last 3 years. Everything counts. And I hate to get in a position down the road where you got to drop sports to make your budget work. So that was a long answer. And you mentioned talking about some other sports.
Is that cross-pollinate to all within the athletic department?
Yes, it would. Absolutely. Like last year, Paul Jubb on the men's tennis team, he won the individual national title. He became a pretty much of a sensation in college tennis. And he's back, by the way, so he's on our team again this year. Our women's tennis team, by the way, won the SEC conference championship last year. I finished second to Georgia in the regular season, and then we beat them in the tournament. Special team. We have a lot of success across the board among our 12 women's sports and 9 men's sports. Yes, sir.
Who actually makes the football schedule and how far in advance is it made?
Well, there is no set timeline. I think some schools have gone too far out. I just saw a couple went 34, 35. We've gone out a little ways ourselves. I think we have announced, you probably saw it a couple months ago, we're doing a home and home with the University of Miami. I want to say maybe 27, 28. We're going to do a home and home with Virginia Tech, probably going to do a home and home in North Carolina. So the football schedule is really done between myself, a senior associate athletic director, and a football coach. And so that's kind of how we put it together. And we got 8 SEC games, very difficult. And Coach Muschamp, he doesn't mind playing 2 other Power 5s, which sometimes makes it really hard. Some schools choose to play 4 easier games, and we really haven't taken that route. So I think you're going to see more competitive games. You remember, in the past, you would see your league games, and then maybe 3 or 4 games that were not as competitive. I think you're going to see more competitive games going forward, just because it's going to be more of a fan experience. And as a fan, you want to see a big team come in, or you want to go on the road to watch a big Power 5 school somewhere else.
Any questions? I understand the times of the football games are led by TV times.
Yes, ma'am.
But when we play non-conference schools, why would there be a game in the hot afternoon instead of having
They're also dictated by television.
Oh.
Even though it's not a conference game, it's dictated by television. I will share this with you. I try not to get in trouble. Tyson, if I get in trouble, I'm going to blame you today. But you probably heard that the SEC is in conversations about a new television contract in the next few years. Right now we do CBS on SEC on CBS on 3:30 on Saturday afternoons. There's some negotiations going on. As you probably know, Disney bought ESPN. ESPN has a lot of platforms. Disney has platforms. So that's an opportunity opportunity, should we go in that direction, we'll have a little more flexibility on game times, just because there are more platforms to go. So you probably would have less, say, noon games or 1 o'clock games. That's just a speculation on my part. I sit on the SEC television content committee, and that's sort of 30,000-foot view of how it could unfold, but we haven't officially signed a new contract yet. I think we probably will, whether CBS gets back on the table or it goes somewhere else. I mean, there's Fox involved, but Disney is awfully strong right now.
Do you ever, excuse me, do you ever discuss your standing in the Director's Cup? Is that something that's part of your conversation?
It is. It's not something that I have a lot of coaching conversations about, but we have a senior staff that is comprised of 10 senior associate athletic directors, and each of those directors have sports underneath them. So the Director's Cup is a big deal. I think last year we were 21st or 22nd in the country, which speaks volume about our overall sports teams. But here's in a nutshell our philosophy. We want to put our student athletes in a position to be successful. We don't want any negativity. We don't want any reasons that you can't be successful. I don't want to hear about the facility. I don't want to hear about the travel. I don't want to hear about anything that keeps you from winning at a high level. Does that mean if you don't finish first, we want to fire you? Or if you don't do well, we're going to be utterly disappointed? Not necessarily, but we want to give you an opportunity to be successful. Sometimes it just doesn't work, but I've seen it, I've been a part of it. That if you can do those things, you're going to have some success. It doesn't mean it's all going to be perfect, but you take out the negativity that surrounds it, the reasons not to be successful. It's amazing. We do exit interviews with our underclassmen and our graduating seniors. The graduating seniors, we go face to face. We go online with the underclassmen, and we get a lot of good feedback. Years ago, probably my first couple of years, we would get some negative comments about their travel, their hotel, maybe even their practice facility, and those things had to be removed. We were on a mission. They got to go. That's not the conversation anymore. The conversation is we're in a position to be successful, and we are having success.
Well, you have a good history of broad success across those 21 sports.
Correct.
And so that's why I thought that would have to be part of the conversation, because you're not just focused on the couple revenue sports. You've got success across the boards, and that reflects well when you're standing in the Director's Cup.
Yes, it does, and it's important. It's important to me, not necessarily because I'm the athletics director and we finished 21st and it makes me look good, it makes the school look good. It's the right thing. It's the right thing for our men and it's the right thing for our women. And it doesn't matter if there's 8,000 or 80,000 at your game.
Right.
Everybody's equal. If you play, you're a student athlete, and I think you should have those opportunities. I sometimes have these conversations with my colleagues that are athletic directors. They don't focus the same way. They pour all their money in certain areas and not so much in others. I'm not of that ilk. College baseball used to be called a non-revenue sport. That's what they called us. If you weren't football or basketball, they said, y'all are non-revenue. Well, then they started to say, well, let's be nice. Let's call them Olympic sports. Make them feel better. It's the same thing. But it's a big deal to me. Like the other day, we just put up a new scoreboard up on the softball. It's fabulous. And as soon as it got finished, I said, I want to go to soccer field. I want to do that same scoreboard in soccer. And one of my senior staff members said, I think we could use that money in a different area. He didn't like my response. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I think it's part of your overall success. You know, how do you feel? How the coaches feel? Do you count? Of course you count. It's not that way in a lot of places, though. It's just the emphasis. I came from that side of the track. And Coach Monahan can remember, I remember we had bag lunches riding vans. You fix your own field. You had the tamp home plate, you had to fix the pitcher's mound. And that's where I come from. To me, we count too. Everybody counts. And I think that's where the health is in our program right now, I believe. And they know it. The coaches know it. Like I'll show up at women's tennis, I'll show up everywhere. And if we need to drive the courts, I'll help drive. That's part. I used to drag the field. I can certainly drag it. I can put a blower on and drive tennis courts. But, we're one of the last schools to have an SEC indoor tennis complex. We needed to have one, and we've been late getting there. In the last probably 3 or 4 years, everybody has put one up. And so now we're getting ready to break ground on ours as well. It takes money, but you got to do it. I wish we were in excess of $200 million like some of these schools. It's amazing, some of these schools and the amount of money they got. But we're doing fine. We got great support, and I'm grateful for it. We're continuing to operate in the black.
I know sitting from outside in 2011, watching those World Series in Omaha, that was just phenomenal. And then almost the third year, right? Went back to the third year, and
Right.
almost won in the third year again. That's when you had Jack Bradley Jr. with Boston. And how exciting was that for you? Because that really brought a lot of attention to USC sports overall. And that just had to be amazing. Even just watching that was just phenomenal. And the talent that those guys brought in playing those, California and those teams, I tell you, it sent chills down my spine just watching it from the outside in. So how was it for you? And congratulations on that. I tell you, that was really unbelievable.
I was scared to death. No, I was coaching at North Carolina State. I was a young head coach. I became a head coach at 27. The late Jim Valvano, for those of you who may remember him, he was the athletics director and the basketball coach, and he hired me. I was working there as an assistant. He hired me as a head coach at 27. So my first 9 years were at NC State. My wife graduated from the University of South Carolina. She always wanted to go back to Columbia. And I said, there's one job in Columbia. There's only one baseball coach there. So it's unlikely that I'm going to be that needle in a haystack. Lo and behold, summer of 1996, I got the call. Mike McGee was the athletic director. She said, we'll take the job. And I'm not exaggerating either. I said, at least we should negotiate. And she said, we're not negotiating because you might mess it up. So I actually went to Columbia not knowing what I was getting paid. But here's the thing. Bobby Richardson, 7 years as head coach, followed by June Raines, I think it was 21 or 22. There was a tradition of baseball at the University of South Carolina. There were World Series appearances. It was a Southeastern Conference since 1992. I believed that you could be ultimately successful coaching at the University of South Carolina in the SEC. Now, coaches are eternal optimists sometimes. So my first team was in 97. By 2001 or 2002, we were really good. We did make the World Series in 2002, 3, and 4. And then we had a break. We were runner-up in 2002. I kept thinking that we eventually would be in a position to win one. It just happened that it was 3 years in a row where we had a chance. But we had players that were very selfless. We had good players. We had a couple great players. Like Jackie Bradley Jr., you mentioned Christian Walker. Michael Roth was he was one of the best pitchers in the country. Matt Price, Blake Cooper. A lot of South Carolinians in that group. And we just started playing so well that I did my very best to stay out of the way. And just clap and say, go get them, boys. And, it's interesting because, our focus was always on us. It was never about the other team. 2010, we beat UCLA for the national title. Oral Hershiser was the analyst on that game. He didn't give us a chance to win, but our guys didn't know that. And our guys that weren't focused on that. And winning was such a habit, we would be down by 1 or 2